Ever since the last ammo shortage, rumors have been flying, panic buying, sky-high prices, you name it. Let's be real, a lot of gun owners are feeling uneasy. But here's the real story. The ammunition industry is gearing up for 2025 in ways that might catch a lot of people off guard. In today's video, we're diving into what's really going on behind the scenes with primers and gunpowder, the essential ingredients of ammunition, and what it all means for law-abiding firearm owners. We'll cut through the noise and give you the facts about all those whispers of shortages. Whether you're a hunter, a sports shooter, a collector, or just someone who wants to stay prepared, you're going to want to stick around for this breakdown. But before we dig deeper, let me quickly take you back. Do you remember the great ammo drought of 2020? If you lived through it, you know it felt a lot like the toilet paper chaos, except for gun owners. Shelves were bare, prices skyrocketed, and confusion ruled the day. The reasons behind that shortage ran deep. The COVID-19 pandemic sent shockwaves through society, leading to a massive spike in gun and ammo purchases as people scrambled for security and peace of mind. Reports suggest that around 8.4 million Americans bought their first firearm that year, and they all needed ammunition. But COVID wasn't the only trigger. After the death of George Floyd, nationwide protests and civil unrest broke out, further fueling the surge in firearms and ammo sales. Add the 2020 presidential election into the mix, with widespread fears about new gun control measures, and you had the perfect recipe for overwhelming demand. Now, you might think ammo companies would just hit the gas and ramp up production, right? Unfortunately, it wasn't that simple. The pandemic wreaked havoc on supply chains worldwide, disrupting the flow of critical materials like lead. Ammo makers struggled to source enough raw materials, and when it comes to primers, the tiny but vital components that set off the gunpowder, production is limited to just a handful of specialized manufacturers. That bottleneck meant that even if bullets and casings were ready, without primers, there was no finished ammo to ship. Fast forward to today. Despite some progress in rebuilding supply chains and expanding production, chatter about another looming shortage is growing louder. It's like we're back in 2020 all over again. But how much truth is there to these rumors? While manufacturers have taken major steps to increase output and buffer against supply shocks, consumer skepticism still runs high, and that's keeping prices elevated. At the center of it all are primers and gunpowder, the unsung heroes of ammunition production. Without them, you don't have functioning rounds, just empty shells. Any disruption to these critical materials can freeze manufacturing in its tracks. So, where do things stand right now? Thankfully, the industry seems to have learned from the disaster of a few years ago. Companies are expanding their facilities, adopting newer technologies, and working hard to ensure they can keep up with any sudden demand spikes. Still, only time will tell whether these measures will be enough to keep ammo shelves stocked and prices stable in the months ahead. With the lessons from the 2020 ammo shortage still fresh in everyone's mind, the industry is taking serious steps to prevent history from repeating itself. At the same time, major players are positioning themselves for significant expansion heading into 2025. Today, we'll break down some of the most important developments that are reshaping the future of ammunition, starting with a massive push to increase primer production. First up, have you heard of White River Energetics? Based out of D'Arc, Arkansas, they're known for producing essential components like primers, and they're making some serious waves. They're investing around $70 million to expand their current 14,000 square foot plant into a sprawling 100,000 square foot facility. This isn't just a win for Arkansas, It's a major boost for the entire ammunition supply chain, especially given how primer shortages have frustrated both manufacturers and shooters. Their expansion is expected to add hundreds of jobs while helping stabilize the primer supply for civilian and military markets alike. But Wanmi isn't stopping there. They're also tackling another bottleneck by building the first new single-base smokeless powder factory in the U.S. in over half a century. Construction is already underway, and if everything stays on track, the facility should be online by early 2026. This new plant is a huge leap forward, offering relief to the strained global supply of propellants, a critical element for ammunition manufacturing. Ambitious expansion is a strong signal that they're becoming a major force in the ammunition world. Meanwhile, over in Independence, Missouri, the Lake City Army ammunition plant is undergoing a major overhaul. Since 1941, LCAA has been a backbone of America's small-caliber ammunition production, supplying the military with over 1 billion rounds a year. Now, big changes are in the works. One major upgrade is the construction of a new facility specifically for producing 277 Fury rounds, the cutting-edge ammunition for the Army's next-generation squad weapon program. It's the first brand-new production facility at Lake City in decades, and it's being built under the management of Winchester, the plant's operating contractor. Construction is expected to kick off in the second quarter of 2024. Along with that, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is leading extensive upgrades across the plant to replace aging infrastructure, much of it dating back to World War II. These improvements are set to transform Lake City into a modern, high-tech manufacturing hub capable of meeting the evolving needs of the U.S. military and its allies. In the bigger picture, these upgrades help ensure both military and civilian ammunition markets have a steady, reliable supply well into the future. Another big shift in the industry comes from Vista Outdoor. If you haven't been following, Vista recently sold its sporting products division, now called the Kinetic Group, to the Czechoslovak Group for $2.23 billion. This division includes major ammo brands like Federal, CCI, Speer, Remington Ammo, and Hevi-Shot, household names among American gun owners. Understandably, the news of a foreign company taking ownership raised some eyebrows, especially given national security concerns. However, CSG has strong NATO ties and made firm commitments to keep operations, factories, and jobs in the U.S. They've pledged not only to maintain, but also expand production capabilities, focusing on both military contracts and civilian sales. While there was some initial controversy and scrutiny from lawmakers, the deal passed review by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, clearing the way for the acquisition. With CSG resources and expertise, there's potential for increased efficiency and innovation across these legendary brands. For gun owners, that likely means more consistency and reliability from names they already know and trust. Combined with the other expansions happening across the industry, it's shaping up to be a much more stable and promising future for ammo supply. After several years of uncertainty and unpredictable supply, 2025 is finally shaping up to be a year of real stability and even opportunity for ammo buyers. The most noticeable shift? Ammunition is now plentiful. Manufacturers have been working overtime, running production lines non-stop to meet demand. Instead of the barren shelves and sky-high prices that defined the last major ammo shortage, we're now seeing a true surplus. With no panic buying in sight, retailers aren't struggling to keep up anymore. Instead, shelves are fully stocked, and customers have a wider range of options than ever before. And that's not the only piece of good news. Prices are dropping too. Ammo costs, which surged during the shortage years, are now steadily falling as supply comfortably exceeds demand. Whether you're a frequent shooter, a hunter, or simply someone preparing for the future, this is arguably one of the best times in recent memory to stock up, especially with retailers offering competitive deals to win over customers in a buyer's market. Another key reason behind this new era of stability is the reliable flow of critical raw materials like primers and gunpowder. Previously, bottlenecks in the supply chain for these components created massive slowdowns. But now, thanks to manufacturers diversifying sources and reducing reliance on imports, those issues have largely been ironed out. Having a dependable supply of primers and powder helps keep production steady even during demand spikes. For gun owners, this brings peace of mind, fewer concerns about unexpected shortages or price hikes. It's also worth highlighting how the industry has learned from the past. Instead of relying on temporary fixes, companies are investing heavily in new facilities, updated technologies, and more resilient supply chains. These improvements may not always make the news, but they are building a stronger foundation for the ammo market's future, one where availability and reliability are the norm, not the exception. Altogether, the combined impact of increased production, stronger supply chains, and falling prices has completely transformed the ammo buying experience. The panic and frustration that once haunted gun owners are quickly becoming a thing of the past. Ammo shortages that once seemed like a constant threat now feel like distant memories. Still, even with all the positive momentum, old myths and misunderstandings continue to circulate. That's why it's important to clear the air, especially heading into 2025. Social media, online forums, and YouTube comment sections are still filled with doomsday predictions about future shortages. But the truth is, the industry is better prepared than ever. Of course, no system is completely immune to pressures like global demand spikes, political tensions, or sudden economic shifts. But compared to a few years ago, today's ammo production landscape is stronger, smarter, and much more resilient. If you really want to stay up to date, it's best to rely on credible sources. Think industry publications, official updates from manufacturers, and trusted firearm organizations rather than the rumor mill. Staying informed will help you make smarter buying decisions and avoid falling into unnecessary panic. And that wraps up this video. It's always wise to stay prepared, but based on everything we're seeing, the future of ammo looks pretty solid. Still, what's your take? Do you think it's smart to keep stockpiling ammo just in case we're being a little too optimistic? And if you've already been stocking up, what calibers are you focusing on besides 9mm? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more content like this. Thanks so much for your support.